Hello everyone, welcome back. In this video I'm going to talk to you about the Baker Act and specifically the report that is supposed to be filed by law enforcement when someone is Baker Acted. So remember, there's two types of Baker Act here in Florida: involuntary and voluntary. There is three ways you can get involuntarily Baker Acted, which is the Baker Act you would associate with the 72-hour detention. Law enforcement initiates a Baker Act, which is what we're going to talk about today. The issuance of a professional certificate by a qualified professional, such as a clinician, an emergency room doctor. And the third way, which is the one that we see the very least and is typically filed by mistake, people thinking they're going to get their loved one treatment and then realizing after the fact they've just handed their loved one over to the state of Florida on a silver platter with a bow wrapped around. And if they have health insurance, then they can't get them out. So when that happens, the court issues an emergency order, the person gets picked up, and one of two things happen. They either get released in 72 hours, now they come out all ticked off and upset, and of course they didn't get any treatment, or they get stuck, they just get worse, they don't get any treatment, and things go from bad to worse. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about the report of the law enforcement officer. So let me just sort of preface this. This is 394.463. So that is the section of the Baker Act which talks about the criteria and the three ways that I just mentioned that someone can get Baker Acted. Now, one of those being the law enforcement officer, and it talks about in this particular section, and I'm going to read this to you, so bear with me for looking at the camera. A law enforcement officer may, remember the may used to be shall before July the 1st, now it's may, so we've given the police more discretion here, take a person who appears to meet the criteria for involuntary examination into custody and deliver the person or have him or her delivered to an appropriate or the nearest facility when the designated receiving system pursuant to yada 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 for examination. And in here, it talks about the officer shall execute a written report detailing the circumstances under which the person was taken into custody. There's got to be a report made by the police, a bit like in a criminal case when they have to, create a probable cause affidavit. And in the last sentence here, any facility accepting the patient based on this report must send a copy of the report to the department within 5 working days. Now, I went online, I looked at the actual document that comes from DCF, the Department of Children and Family Services. That's the licensing agency here in Florida. God, I'm sorry, it's been a long day. And it's titled Report of Law Enforcement Officer Initiating Involuntary Examination. And it talks about, gives all, the boxes and the sentences that the police officer has to put together. Now, it's not clear from the statute if when they say report, it means this report, this document that I'm going to attach to the video. I think it actually means a bit like a probable cause affidavit. And the reason I say that is because I had a case once where somebody was Baker Acted by the police, and despite the fact this is a confidential proceeding, they actually wrote a report, the probable cause affidavit. And when, this individual went for employment, in the background check, the police report showed up. It was public record, which obviously was not how it's supposed to be. So even though the statute's not clear, I think that what happens is the police write their own report, they fill out this document, and they're supposed to send a copy of this not only to the Department of Children and Family Services, but they're supposed to put it into give it to the Baker Act facility so it's part of the clinical file. Again, confidential, but as you know, the law is not always followed in these circumstances. So this is sort of the procedural aspect of when the police Baker Act somebody. I want to share it with you. I'll attach a photograph of the actual document, and if you want to go and read the statute, let me find you the section. So this is 394.463 subsection 2, and it's titled Involuntary Examination. Subsection 2 of that, little 2, is the section of the Baker Act statute that talks about law enforcement initiating a Baker Act. So 1 is the court, 2 is the police, and 3 is the qualified professional. So anyway, I appreciate you tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.